one really healthy addiction to have in life, actually, if it's healthy to have any kind of addiction, I would say is learning, getting smarter constantly, making that a habit. You can call it an addiction, but really it's just a habit. I mean, that's what an addiction is. It's just a strong habit, except there's some addictions, of course, like chemical addictions that change your brain. You don't want to get into that stuff, obviously, but learning constantly. This is why I'm always listening to guys like Brian Tracy and Tony Robbins and all these guys, Grant Cardone, Zig Ziglar, Jim, like they're constantly reinforcing, just by listening to them, whatever they're saying, they're constantly reinforcing to me, if it's to be, it's up to me, and I can always get better. The answer to a better life, wherever you're at, is always the same. It's like you have to get better. It's a game. Life is a journey of self-improvement, and the more you're learning, the more you can earn. The more you learn, the more you can earn. It sounds cliche, but it's true. And if you think about it, if you know more, if you know differently, you can act and behave differently. You can get a different result in your life. So you have to always be studying, learning constantly, filling the void in your life, or the empty, the free time you have, with learning instead of doing things like, constantly pleasure seeking. Like, there's a great quote by Dennis Waitley, for example, because I've studied this stuff so much. He talks about most people are interested in tension relieving activities versus goal achieving activities. And that's really important to notice, because how you spend your free time, the empty void time, is going to determine your life. Because we all know you got to go to a job, you got to make money, you got to have a home, you got to have whatever connections. But in that free time, after you did the 40, 50 hours a week, that's the difference maker. Are you working on a side hustle? Are you building your dream business? Are you actively pursuing something that you want more out of life? Or are you just content with where you're at right now? Because if you're just content, that's fine. Be happy, be content. But at the same time, it's a bad thing, because if you're not improving for the better, eventually your life is going to change to the point where you can't maintain what you're currently content with. So let me repeat that again. If you're not constantly improving and learning more, eventually your life is going to get worse, because you're either growing or you're getting worse. And obviously being grateful, being content is very important, but I believe everybody should be learning, studying, improving, getting better constantly, because that's the only way to be able to keep up with the incessant change of life that everybody faces, especially in 2024. Back in 1980, it was a lot different. 1990, it was a lot different. But nowadays, people are working 5, 10, 20 jobs, different side hustles, Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, all this stuff, gig economy apps, social media, selling software. There's so many opportunities that if you want to keep up with them, you have to be in the know. Okay, so I recommend somewhere to start, especially if you're brand new to this stuff. You need that motivation. You need to review the basics, which most people really need to review the basics, is Brian Tracy University. I'll put a link below the video. This is something I've reviewed a lot. I've gone through all his personal development videos in this university, which is like just hours and hours and hours of self-development training, which programs your mind for thinking about your goals and creating success in your life. Because if you're not thinking about your goals and where you're going in your life, you're not really like studying, listening, moving in that direction, you're just going to stay stagnant. You're just going to be like stuck water that gets old and nasty, and it's not going to get you to where you want to be in your life. So I'll put a link below the video. You can check that out. Again, it's called Brian Tracy University. And I'll see you in the next video.